Okay guys, what we'll be doing in this video is talking about transform animation, like using transform method and property on animation. Now, we'll be talking about three different ways of using transform. We'll talk about the scaling, we'll talk about the rotate, we'll talk about the skew. We'll also talk about translate. Okay, four of them. We'll talk about four of them. So let's see how it works. So for now, we have seen how this works. So now we use this transform method too on the keyframe, right? Let's remove this. I'll just comment it so that it will still be there. So let's code using the transform method. First of all, I'll use the from to method. I'll use transform. Now, this transform method, the first transform property we use with the transform is the scaling property. Now, scaling means giving it different sizes, right? On either the x-axis or the y-axis. X-axis always talk about the horizontal, y-axis always talk about the vertical. So let's see how it works. So remember we are doing it on the keyframe. On the keyframe, this change BGD and BGC. That's why we are doing it. So let's see how it works. So I'll say transform. Then you see immediately you type transform, it will show you other properties, right? Or other sub-properties. So I'll say transform, let us use scale. Now we can use the general scale. Then we can also use the scale X or scale Y. So let us do scale S first. Scale S, you type how many pixels do you want it to change. I will say 300 pixels. Then 2. Remember, we're using the from to method. 2. I'll say transform again. Immediately you type transform. Still on the x-axis, scale 500 pixels. So, okay, let's see. We're not supposed to add pixel on this one, so we're just scaling it. So let me refresh again. So it's scaled. Now this is happening just once. Let's see. Okay, let us say from zero to 500 pixels. So as you can see what's happening here, we say it should scale on the x-axis. As I said earlier, x-axis is always the horizontal. So what's happening here is that, remember we say our iteration count should be 5. If you say 5, okay, it was 3 before. So we are saying our iteration count should be 3. So first of all, it will happen the first time, delay for 1 second, happen the second time, delay for 1 second, and happen the third time. So then it will stop happening. So that's what scaling means. Giving it a different size. 500 is too much. So let me just make this 200. So I will see it work. Okay, even 200 is still too much. Let's make it 50. So this is just scaling. 50 is still too much. Let's use 5. Let's see. Very good. 1, 2, 3. So that's just it. This is how scaling works. Adding, giving it a different size. Giving it a different size. So I can also say from 0 pixel to, let me use pixel and see. 100 px. Let's see. Okay, pixels also work. So we can also give it pixel. So it will happen 3 times. It will start from 0 pixel and scale, increase. Just like saying it should increase on the x-axis. On the x-axis, right? So that's it. So you can also increase on the y-axis. It's just to change this to y. And let's see what will happen. It will start from 0. It will now start expanding. Okay, this should also be on the y-axis. So this time around it will be, you see, it will start from 0. So this is y-axis. The other one was x-axis. So it will start from 0 and increase to 100 pixels in the y-axis. So that's it. We also have, we can also use just one transform to okay, this is it for scale. So the next property we'll talk about is okay, we can also use just space to separate both for the y-axis and the x-axis. Do you understand? So let's see how it works. So we can also use it this way. So the next property we are going to talk about now is transform translate. Now transform translate tells us we use transform translate when we want to move our element from one point to another. So let's see how it works. So we'll say transform translates. So we have translate x, we have translate y, we have translate 3D. We are going to talk about the translate x and translate y. So remember, x is always horizontal, y is always vertical. So if I say I want to move it at a particular pixel on the horizontal, so I'll say translate y from translate y 0 pixel to, this is not 0 pixel, to translate y. I'll say transform again. Transform, translate x. Let's say we want to move it 500 pixels. So let's see how it works. You see, it's now moving. So it will start from 0 pixels and move 500 pixels. So this is what happens when you want it to move. This is for x. We can also add for y. Let us say y instead of x. Let's make this y. Let's also make this y. So let's refresh. You see, it's now moving on the vertical axis. We can also give it, now it's going down. If we want it to go up, do you understand? We also give it a negative sign, minus this, so it will go up. Instead of going down, you see it's now going up. So that is it for translate. We can also do that for x. So that instead of it going to the left, it can also go to the right. So let's see. You see it's going this way. Now it will go out of the screen because it is moving 500 pixels to the other side. So that is it for transform translate. We also have transform rotate. So let's remove this translate. We also have transform rotate. So the next property we'll talk about is the rotate property. Rotate. So we also have rotate x, rotate y, and rotate z. So let's talk about the rotate x and y for now. So if we want it to rotate x, so here when we have the angle, you just write how many degrees do I want it to go round, right, on the x axis. if I want it to go, let me say 360 degrees, that means I want it to complete a cycle. 360, you just say DEG. So 360 degrees from 300 or from 0 degrees, let's say from 0 degrees to transform, rotate, rotate X, I'll say here 360 DEG, like this. So let's see it in action. So this is what it will look like. So you remove all those column, those quotation marks there. So we'll get something like this. So it will start from 0 degree, let's refresh. So it will go round on the x-axis. It will rotate on the x-axis. Now, for rotation, x-axis is actually going from up to down, not from left to right. So if we want it to go from left to right, we change this to y. We change this to y. So with this now, it will start going. You see, it will now start rotating the other way around. So it's now rotating. That's it for transform, rotate. Now we also have transform skew, which is the last one we are going to talk about. Transform skew. So we remove the rotate. Transform skew. So I'll say skew. Skew is just making it slanty, like bending it. You want it to bend. So I can also skew on the x-axis or on the y-axis. So I just want it to bend. So I'll just say from 0, I want it to bend from 0 degrees. The angle I want it to bend to 180 degrees. Here, I'll say 180 deg, something like this. So you see, it's now bending. It's just a kind of bending, skewing. So that's what skew is all about. It looks like it's rotating, but this is not actually rotation. So let me make it 80 degrees so I will see it properly. So it's actually slanting. You see, it's slanting. And it will slant to that particular degrees. So that's it about skew. So if you have any question, this is it for animation in general. If you have any question, send me a DM. Feel free to ask. I'm always at your service. Thank you for watching.